put this on paper to make it into a manga. And then I started doing the research. And every time I had downtime, I'm watching a YouTube video and I'm learning. And that's one thing people need to know is that you are an eternal student. You are an eternal student, and you are always learning. You are never too good to not learn. You are never too good to not learn. So that's why you take everything as a learning process, and then that, like I said, you have to want it. When you want it, the time presents itself. Really.
That. Come on now, that was a diamond. That wasn't just like a regular gem. Point blank. But it got okay, that could be a whole nother layer thing. You done got me started. I feel like I need to record a separate podcast right after this interview. Artists, creatives, and designers. I'm your host, Electra, and welcome to Dream Aloud Art, where we have educating, inspiring, and motivating conversations with creatives from around the world. Show some love and support by subscribing, liking this video, and uplift another creative by sharing this video. Let's tune in to another amazing conversation. Let's go. Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art on YouTube. And we have yet another amazing creative here on the show. So he goes by the name of Poseidon Magna, y'all. So Poseidon is a solo indie developer and the creator of Mavros Prime. Okay, get it right. And yes, so he is also a self-taught 2D and 3D generalist with a passion for animation. So we have so many questions. At least I do. I have so many questions. I definitely want to learn more about your experiences and some of the challenges that you've had that have launched you to the point that you're at right now. So welcome, Poseidon.
Hello, welcome. Hello, thank you.
So I got to find out off top, why Poseidon? Why Poseidon? Tell me. I want to know.
Well, I mean, I try not to be, I'll try not to be like, I feel like stereotypical or basic as possible, but I mean, well, one, I grew up loving Greek mythology. It was just one of the things that that sticks out as far as like fantasy culture.
Yes.
So I was like, I love Greek mythology. And I am an Aquarius. So
oh, okay.
I like today is literally my birthday.
It's your birthday?
It is my birthday.
Happy birthday! Oh, that just changes everything now. How exciting! See, now I want to ask you all these birthday questions instead. Like, what are you doing? What are your plans this weekend? And all that. Oh my gosh, are you one of those people who claims the whole month? Like, like February is my. Is that like your vibe?
I never did that until I met my wife, and she does that. So So, I mean, I was like, yo, celebrate me. I was like, I mean, it is Black History Month. Do it up.
All encompassing. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Well, again, happy birthday. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm happy for you. Okay. See, I told you, now I'm in the birthday space. Okay, let me bring it back to the Mavros Prime space. Okay. So now let's look at the other part of your name, the Magna. What exactly is that in relation to?
Magna is actually, I mean, it's also Greek. If you're like talking about like Magna Carta,
right,
so on and so forth. So I thought that that would go well with Poseidon, but also it is it's an acronym. It's not an acronym. No, acronyms when each letter means something.
Yes.
Forget the word, but when it's a word, but you mix it up and change it to another word.
Oh, yes. Like you take the letters and rearrange it like that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I don't know, but I follow you.
Right. So I because of the line of work I'm in, I rearranged the word manga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Into
Yeah, I was wondering about that because like looking at the bio, the intro that I have, I was kind of flip-flopping. I had a moment where I'm like Magna, like, wait, well, okay, it's throwing me off. But okay, I got you. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So if you'll share with us, what exactly have you had the strongest interest in when it comes to the 2D, 3D, as you've noted as a generalist? What is the strongest interest with that?
I would say probably the manga aspect of it. I've always loved anime since I was a child. We all grew up on Dragon Ball Z and Inuyasha and all the classics. So that was my love. And then, I was always like, well, you can't just jump into animation. There's steps, there's roles, there's this, that, and the other. So I was did my research and I learned that the easiest, I guess, first step would be to learn 2D drawing, how to draw and animation and all that. So that's my two-dimensional,
Gotcha.
background.
Right.
I stick to drawing, digitally drawing manga. Don't give me a pen and paper. I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Digital.
Yeah. Digital.
Your world. Okay. Yeah. And so 3D. Now I'm asking with the student cap on here because I'm trying to follow your train of thought and your experiences and the things that you've done. So the 2D, you're referring to, of course, digital drawing in that sense. So then 3D, what would you be referring to there?
That would be the animation side of it. So like I said, I wanted to get into animation as far as like making anime, cartoons, whatever. And that takes a lot of technical finesse. So I started, picking up whatever information I could as far as where to start. And there are so many different venues that I just have, they literally just tell you to pick one. And I'm like, all right. So, I started learning.
Now, real quick, you said they literally tell you just pick one. Who are you referring to here?
The industry, anybody in the industry who tries, if you ask like, how do I start? How do I get into animation? How do I start? And people will tell you like, well, one, have like a general background of like a drawing or animation of some sort, at least an ideology.
Right.
And then they're like, well, there's all these different programs that you can use just because I'm a digital artist. They're like all these different programs that will translate the things that you already know into 3D art, which just pipelines into animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Like for example, I've learned in the past 2.5 years, Blender, Unity, and what was the third one? No, it was just Blender and Unity. No, Unreal, yeah, and Unreal, which are mostly used for video games. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. So, well, you mentioned the video games. Is this something that you're intrigued with, and kind of, perhaps evolving into that world later on?
I mean, yeah, maybe later on. It's it's definitely like it. I feel like it. It's in the same family.
Cool.
It's not my main focus. My main focus is like anime style or Japanese style cartoons. That is my main focus, but I feel
absolutely
learning those and getting into the community won't hurt, I don't think.
Right. But I feel like it's, and let me just say this, and this is for my listeners to understand. Animation is no joke. Like animation is some next level stuff. How would I remotely have any kind of clue? Because I actually tried that. I actually tried animation, I did animation. But when I say animation, again, I was saying I changed the word try and a did because there is no in between. I actually did do it, but it was more so from an experimental angle. I wasn't, trying to go full fledged with animation. I was just testing some things out to see what I'm able to do and to learn more about the process. And let me tell you, after 6 hours, now this was this was like 7-8 years ago, but after 6 hours of putting together something that lasted 3 seconds, I was like, this this takes a special kind of someone, and it ain't me, but it is like like I said, I feel something I share with so many artists, and they may not hear me say it enough, but when I have one-on-ones, correction, they may not hear me say it enough on my platforms, but when I have the one-on-ones, I feel like the reason why I got into so many different mediums and everything digitally and traditional, whatever you want to call it, is just to be able to relate to an artist now at this time in my life. Like I said, animation was not for me. And for me, and at that time I was wondering like, well, geez, like, why am I like dabbling in so many things? Maybe it was just to have these kind of conversations and to say respect. Okay. Yeah. I respect that. Now, granted, as I mentioned, it took me eons. Okay. Just for a few seconds. Has software evolved now, like where it's not so labor intensive now, or is there like an easier path and a more challenging path when it comes to animation and working with those programs?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely say it has come some ways. And that's like the artist community, like you said, traditional versus like digital.
Yes.
Like when digital art first came on board, everyone's like, that's not art, that's not drawing. Yeah. Like like Tell him,
it
was like, yo, there is skill in each one of these things. Like, because I could tell you when I first got my digital iPad or whatever, I didn't know what I was doing. I had to take classes on how to use the iPad and the program to even start drawing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't just hop on it and magic flows from the pen. So
come on now.
Right. But there's definitely a lot of tools, especially when you're a low budget or indie developer, that help you along instead of having to pay someone to do each little thing.
So. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that it has evolved quite a bit. But of course, as you just mentioned, I'm sure if I was still intrigued enough, I would have found ways to shortcut it, make it smoother. And so, yeah, that's true. But the 6 hours was traumatizing enough for me. I was like, okay, cool. We're dropping the mic on this one.
Okay. Don't give up.
Yes. Okay. So, and I want to say this too. I absolutely love how you mentioned anime, because I was having a conversation with a gentleman a couple of days ago, a couple days ago. And I haven't watched anime in, maybe like 6 months or so. It's been quite a few months. Okay. And we were having a talk about anime. So you mentioned ones that you were really intrigued with when you were younger. What about now? Like what are your go-tos, or just some of your favorite ones?
Favorite animes? Oh,
yes. You have a laundry list. I'm looking.
Yeah,
you paused. I'm like, okay, he's got a laundry list. You got a list.
Oh no! I mean, I've definitely I narrowed it down, because there's a certain ones I try to tell people, like, the ones that you can put on and still watch no matter how many times you've seen it. Those are going to be those are the ones. So for me, it's definitely my number one is definitely Cowboy Bebop.
I have not seen that one. Okay, let me note
that. Watch that. Gotta watch Cowboy Bebop. And then there's one of probably, I mean, it's on the shirt, Naruto. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
wait, okay, so now I have no clue what we're talking about here, because when I saw the ramen, of course, I was just thinking noodles.
I mean, it is a part. So in the show,
off of Naruto.
Yes, this Ichiraku ramen is off of Naruto.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay. Okay, see, I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much today.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So let's take a trip back. Let's rewind a little bit in your journey, and then come, of course, back up to the present. At what point did you really start to embrace your interests, your creativity, and put more of your focus energy towards that. And I say it like that because sometimes, like, if I ask, when did you know that you were an artist? That it's like I get all these different points in time, or it goes all the way back to when they were 3 years old. And then for some, they don't even really know. It's just like, well, I just kind of felt like it's always been there. Maybe I didn't do anything with it like I'm doing now. But at what point did you really start to put your focus towards your creativity and then leading you to what you do now?
All right. Well, I would probably say that would have to have been sometime in college when I was around 21, 22. I mean, I'm not a young spry buck anymore. So as today being my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
I used to be a dancer. So I was a break dancer.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was my jam. I mean, I still,
Oh, you're like extra cool now. Like, what? That's so awesome. Okay, yes, continue, please. I'm all ears.
So I used to be a dancer, and after I got injured in a show, I stopped dancing for, I want to say, maybe 3 months, nurse myself back, but then I gained some weight, and then it was pretty hard to, once you get it, it's hard to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, like some people, like you said, some people were like, oh, since they're a child,
right.
like I've liked anime since I was a child. I used to doodle all the time, but then I mean, I knew that I loved video games. I knew that I loved anime. I knew that I loved cartoons. Like I love fantasy. That's my thing. But I was just like, how do I, started thinking, how do I tackle it all? I can't do it all. You have hundreds and thousands of people putting together one thing, so, and I was just like, well, let me, and I dove in. I was like, let me do my research. So I guess, it was definitely around 21, 22 is when I was like, I got to start somewhere. And that's where the learning began.
Oh my goodness. Much respect, because you're right. I mean, there are so many parts and pieces and all that for the finished product. And more, and I'm going to say this, in way more than I realize, because I'm not in that world of, learning all the parts and pieces that are behind manga. Is it manga, or, because I want to say anime? Are we talking the same thing? I'm not even sure. You have
anime. So anime is going to be the cartoon version of it, and then manga, or if someone wants to get technical, manga.
Manga, okay.
Yeah, it's that's your comic books.
Oh, that's the book. Okay, and they correlate in my head, because you usually have both of one. Like, okay, so on the anime note, real quick, I love One Punch Man. One Punch Man is like so my jam. He, at least to my knowledge, there aren't that many seasons. I think there's only 2. And I didn't even.
Might be a third that they're ending on. I think maybe.
Really?
Yeah, maybe.
Did you see the second season?
I did not actually. It
was awful.
I knew that. I knew that before I even watched it, because the first season was such a masterpiece. I was like, there's no way you can follow up that.
What?
Yeah, the first season was a masterpiece.
Yeah, it was. It was epic.
Yeah, you can't beat your first love, because after that it was just like a cash grab.
Yeah, season 2 just broke my heart. I was like, this is so unfair. But that, for example, and then I found out, oh, there's a manga for this, and I didn't realize that. And so just kind of learning, like, oh, there's a lot of anime that's a manga too, or has a manga, or it started with a manga and now the anime. But yeah, there's so many parts and pieces that I'm not even 100% clear on, because it is its own world. So yeah, I love that. So what were some of the, if you can put this together, but what were some of the greatest challenges that you've had to face when embracing your creativity? And this is something that, before you answer, to keep in mind that a lot of or I have a large portion of my audience that they're drawn to the platform because there's a breakthrough that really needs to happen, or that they're on the brink of, to actually own being an artist, like own it, like 100%. Anime has been one of those areas that artists have reached out to me, especially on Instagram. And they're like, I really want to start drawing anime, painting anime characters, but there's this block, as though, what are people going to say because it's a cartoon or it's an animation. And I'm like, yo, like, go do you, boo. Like that's my, of course I say it, with love. Yeah. But so I gave that buffer before you responded about, like, what are some of those challenges, especially when it comes to anime?
Yeah. That would, I want to say it's easy enough to answer. Like, there's definitely parts. I would say it, probably what a lot of your audience is feeling is it's the social pressure. Yeah. The social pressure of doing something that is almost asinine to most and impossible to a few, that you want to draw cartoons or do this and then do it for profit. That's with all artists. It's like, you're going to do what for money?
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
So now you have to mentally battle with that. When people ask you, like, what do you do? Like, whenever I tell, like, trust me, whenever I tell people I make manga, like, every time I get my heart skips a beat. Like, what are they gonna say? But then in the end, I know, like, I don't care, because it's my thing. So definitely, it would be the social pressure, which when I was young, I was one of those Black nerds, as they now call them, blurds.
Blurds, yes.
That people picked on because I didn't, listen to rap music and all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm still going to do me. And I did, once I got more confidence in myself to do what I wanted without worrying about what people thought.
Yeah.
Then I was able to think clearer, think better. And that's when I really started to own it. And I've honestly, like, probably, I won't say bucket list, but, like, I will be a person that inspires some young Black child. I will be, like,
yes, you're already doing it. Let me just go ahead and say that we're going to speak that, Poseidon. Yeah. We are, because I want to tell you this. With my platform looks like my platform. It just looks like, okay, this is Respect the Artist. This is Dream Loud Art. Okay, cool. But I cannot tell you how many kids tune in. Like, kids that have sent me messages or left comments. More so, they have sent messages too, but which is encouraging, because they're positive messages. But they'll leave comments talking about I'm an artist, and respect the artist, RTA. Like, they're watching. You know what I'm saying? So they're tuning in, and so even if one youth or teenager tunes in, whether it's podcast, YouTube, or on Instagram, it's already happening, Poseidon. It is. And it's happening because you're deciding to move forward.
Yes.
Point blank.
That's the goal.
It's inevitable for it to happen. As I was saying, I've experienced that myself, and it kind of surprised me. I was like, oh my gosh, kids are why would I not think that a kid is going to actually make, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the same for you. It's like, yeah, they may not necessarily be commenting or, doing the things that the rest of us are doing out here, but they got their eyes all over the internet,
Oh yeah.
So
that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you so much for responding to that about challenges and things like that. When it comes to what you had just said earlier about introducing yourself and how your heart will, like, skip a beat a little bit there, all of that. And that's especially when I've either had speaking engagements or workshops and things like that, the in-person events. I always tell an artist, you want to change the game, like, about, like, with your confidence, introduce yourself as an artist. That's like the one of the greatest things you can do, because it's no longer in your head now. Now you're speaking it. Now you're telling someone, this is the first thing you should identify me as.
Yep.
Like, I'm an artist for real, or designer, or whatever that looks like. But just like step in that. Yeah, it starts to shed the doubt and the fear. And even if you said like, your heart will like kind of, skip a beat or like kind of race a little bit, I still experience the same thing when I am publicly speaking. Even though I'm very comfortable in it, it almost feels like it's just like a bodily reaction. Like it's just a physical thing that's still going to happen. But we're like, okay, cool. We're good here. And then we just move on, move right through. So yeah. And shout out to all of our blurs that are listening too. I feel like what is the deal? Let me just ask this real quick. And then of course we're going to continue here, but like, what is it like this I don't even know what to call it, a culture, a world of Black people who can identify or relate or really feel the Japanese culture, and to go a level deep. And I'm not saying you have to actually have the answer. I'm just saying that it's a stirring question. I'm just wondering what your feedback is, because I used to live in Japan. Oh. And yes, I used to live in Japan for 16 months. And don't you know, before I went out there, I was like, hey, because like I grew up loving. Now, my mother's Filipino and Spanish, my dad's Black, and yes, I'm Asian, but ever since I was a child, I've been really intrigued with the Japanese culture. Yeah. I just have. And for me, it was more so video games. So I didn't watch anime, but I played, a ton of video games and things like that. So I just think it's so interesting, like, again, with kind of the blurred kind of energy, like Black people can, like, we can identify, like, there's something there. And I did experience that when I lived in Japan. Like, it's like, I don't know, maybe it was a past life or something, but I was so like there, like Japanese culture. I'm like, sign me up, so I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh man, I've been a huge fan of Japanese culture for a long time. And I mean, first of all, I am very jealous of you living in Japan. Like I had
fun.
That is number one on the bucket list. Like,
get out there. Yes.
I was supposed to go 2 years ago because me and my wife or girlfriend at the time got tickets. We got round trip tickets, and they cost for the both of them $900.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I
wait, so was it COVID that you didn't go, or you had to change the plans?
Yeah, it was COVID. They hadn't opened the borders yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's okay. Soon enough. So
I was like, you know what? It's all right. I'm okay. We're gonna do it still.
Yeah, like, I wanted to cry. You cry inside a little bit.
Like, I inside. Okay. I had to walk away. I was like, you guys just give me a moment. But
my goodness. But soon enough.
They've always loved the culture, and they are leading. And anime came from Japan. Anime is Japanese, and so now they have this huge culture of their style of anime that is spread worldwide. That some of us have latched onto, and since we were children,
right?
And so now it's like, I want to. And now I'm sitting and like it's even there's like some of the gatekeepers that are like, oh, you young kids don't know, because now like the kids are. The kids are in it. They are in it.
Oh my gosh.
And to me, I'm thrilled. Like I'm not gatekeeping nobody. Like anybody that used to make fun of nerds or blurs. Yes. I'm like, yo, get that. Like, like now they used to have like jocks, and then the pretty girls. Now they got blurs right there.
Yes, exactly. It's a way of life. Right. It's a lifestyle. I need for y'all to understand that.
Exactly.
Nice. That's so good. But yeah, that's always been a wonder for me for so long. And I'm sure you'll definitely get out there to Japan at some point, because I mean, you're already carrying the energy of it. It's inevitable, for you to touch ground out there. And of course, you and your wife, get out there and enjoy that. My gosh, even let me quick plug for Japan. Even the places and spaces that are not they're not Tokyo. Okay. They're not like on that kind of level. Even the countryside, like anything, any and everything in Japan. It's
all of it.
Even traditional Japan, like all of it. And to see, women, like on an everyday basis, walking around their kimonos and their classic, wooden type shoes. I can't remember the name of the shoes, but I mean, it's like, are we living or are we living? Or like I was walking past a hotel and I saw some famous sumo wrestler and I'm just like, this is life. Like I'm on my way to go shopping at the mall and I see a sumo wrestler getting out the hotel, going to his limo, like,
that's dope. That's dope.
And that's not even Tokyo. Like that's, some other city.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so now that we've gotten some more backstory on you, Poseidon, let's bring it up to the present. So what can you just begin telling us when it comes to telling us about Mavros Prime? Like, where does one start in understanding and learning what Mavros Prime is about?
Okay, well, I mean, other than going to the website and then, making the venture your own, Mavros Prime is, I want it to encompass the creativity and minds of culture, of that culture, of that audience.
Okay.
Because our tagline is divine your legacy. And that in a sense means like take like I said, like that I want people to like the people that are afraid, or I want to draw, but I don't know where to start, or I don't know how to make it. Like I want to draw those people out, and I want to be a shining beacon for them to come to, so that they have the confidence if they need the tools, if they need directions. Like I want to be that crossroad where they come and they're like, Mavros Prime. And that's why we get into animation, we get into manga, we get into video games, like we do the whole nine. And I want you, like, and it's not like, oh, I want people to be like, oh yeah, shout me out, tag me, hashtag, I was like, if you come learn something and then leave, that's good enough for me.
Right.
Make it your own.
So is it also like an educational platform too? Again, I'm asking with my student cap on, like trying to learn what Mavros Prime is about.
Yeah, so it's educational, being that, so like my first manga, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit, is based 7 American students who go to Japan, and and they learn a lot about the Japanese culture through their experiences. And so I want people to learn and then get involved in the things that Mavros Prime is doing. And I even shouted out on the website, I'm like, if you guys want to collaborate, if you want to work together, if you want to stutter or understudy, like a tutelage type of deal, like I'm up for whatever.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. Okay, well, it's mainly like what is my medium, or what is my area of interest when approaching Mavros Prime? Like what are the things that I could possibly be already interested in? So like, in other words, I'm thinking of like, say, a painter. Is there a home for them with Mavros Prime, or is it more so something else?
Yeah, no, there is room for every type of artist and creative.
This is good.
Yeah, because I said, it's these things aren't built by one person. They're built by hundreds and thousands of people. So whatever skill you have can be utilized in a way, like no matter what it is. I had a guy, that's so good. I had a guy on Twitch who I went on his Twitch and I watched him like color, like it might have been someone else's drawing, but I watched him color the drawings,
coloring it,
for about 2.5 hours, spoke with him, chopped it up. And I was like, so, are you thinking about doing this professionally? He's like, what, Twitch? I was like, no, coloring. Like, do you want to be a colorist? He's like, what's a colorist? These people don't know that. Like, that is a job.
See, yes, it is. See, these are those parts and pieces like I was new to when kind of getting a little more of an understanding of, I guess it wasn't manga. It was like just like comic book, like putting a comic book together pretty much, but still the same rules apply, or the same kind of positions apply when it comes to manga. So like that's a whole thing. Like that's a whole world.
Yeah.
So, that's so good. That's really good that those kind of opportunities are available.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's huge.
I want this to be a staple name in the community of animation and manga. We touch ground every little place.
Do you have much of an opportunity to do, this is just branching from what you just said as far as touching ground, but do you have much of an opportunity to do things in person or connect with artists in person?
In person,
when it comes with the backing of Mavros Prime,
Yeah. Well, we are only 2 years old, and I was like, so we haven't done anything yet. This year, we're actually making our first appearance at DreamCon in Texas.
And why have I heard? I actually heard something about that, talking to another artist. Wow.
Yeah, DreamCon is I feel like is a really big platform because it's a anime convention created by the RDC World team from YouTube.
Okay, now that I'm not familiar with.
They are RDC World. They are very popular Black
RDC
creators.
World.
And like YouTubers, and in the community, and they have skyrocketed. These guys are some, like, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 of them. They are on top of their game right now. As far as I think they have a manga and an anime coming out also. But
my goodness,
I hope that Mavros Prime will be at DreamCon trying to shake some hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a completely different energy when you're in person, and I can relate. I just want to say that I can totally relate as far as the time frame. Like you said, it's Mavros Prime's 2 years old. Like, Respect the Artist is what this year would be, tomorrow, matter of fact, marks the 4-year anniversary for when we were established. But I would love to do more in person. It's completely different, and it also builds a different level of trust when you're in person, because now they've met you, they now know, like, they immediately get, it's like it's the energy, they get an energetic understanding of who you are and what you represent, less the amount of research, so it's like, okay, I see what they're about. They seem like they're very firm and set in what they stand for, and you certainly give off that kind of energy, that you're just like, you know what, this is what we do, this is what we're about. And I want to say this too, you said when I was asking about starting off with, like, where does someone start off with learning about Mavros Prime? Like, you just called it off like 1, 2, 3, like no hesitation, no hesitation for what Mavros Prime is about. And that's critical. It's critical because you have people who, whether they're an individual or whether they work for a company, who still can't quite explain what they're about. I mean, it exists. It exists. And I say this with love to my listeners, to the artists, but as an art coach and as a consultant and working one-on-one with artists, that's one of the greatest challenges, is for an artist to be able to explain what they're trying to do. Like what they're representing here. It can be a challenge. And so sometimes it's like they want to get to the finish line, but how can we get to the finish line when we don't know what race we're racing here? Like which one we trying to do here? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you tell me, you know? And then it's like a moment of aha where it's like, oh, dang, that's so good. Yeah, maybe I should, you know, have a particular goal or know what I'm trying to do here or know what explain what I'm about, you know, with certainty. And so that's definitely a big heads up that you're able to do that. And I have no doubt that Mavros Prime will thrive in the way that it's supposed to thrive. No doubt at all.
Thank you.
So I want to bounce to your website real quick. Because going to the site initially and then looking at the artwork, it's like, oh my gosh, like what is all of this about? So I'm looking at the homepage. Of course, I'm going to pop it up on the screen. So I'm looking at the homepage. So when we go to the homepage, and to my podcasters who are listening to this, make sure you go to the links in the description. Check out Poseidon, his website, his IG, all of that good stuff, and make sure you watch the YouTube video so you could put visuals to what we're continuing to talk about here. So I was looking at your site and then I was like, oh wait, okay, so there was a list of some of the artists who have done some work.
Correct.
Okay, and so the work that they're doing, that work is or I'll ask the question, is it a compilation of the manga? Like it's going to be compiled together as a manga? Educate me.
Well, if we're looking at the artist bank where it's the works of art.
Oh, the artist bank. Excuse me. Oh,
like I said,
okay, there's Federal Reserve vibes.
There's room for everybody. Everybody
I
jump
love
in
it.
Here. That is that's a compilation of specifically that artist's work.
Okay.
On my page. So like I said, if you come to Mavros Prime and you learn something, take something away, want to represent yourself through like work, like, you can go in there and be like say you need like a portfolio or credentials, be like, I've worked with Mavros Prime. You can go to their website and find my work.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So that's what we're going to be in our works of art. And that is purely that for them. That's where, like, if you want to be a part of the Mavros family, you want to show off your stuff and you do work for Mavros Prime, yeah, I'll post it. I'll put it up there.
Oh, that's what's up. That's so good. I want to relate to that. And I think this is very important for our listeners and viewers too, because respect the artists, we do that also. So we're an artist community. But we're a hub now. Like Respect the Artist has really grown quite a bit. So we're a hub where we do the educational aspect, the coaching, the artist promotions and all of that stuff. So what I'm referencing when I was saying that I really want to put some light on this is that I'm talking to y'all artists out here. Y'all have to embrace that there's more than enough for everyone. Okay. So when you have, like, say this conversation right here, I have an artist community that I created. Poseidon has an artist community. It's also, a hub for promoting artists too. There's more than enough opportunities out here for everyone. Okay. Right. Artists, the individual artists will find the tribe that they feel they can identify with. And an artist can decide to do both if they wanted to. This is important to say because there are these glimpses of heavy competition between artists instead of supporting each other and knowing that there's there's more than enough opportunities for everyone. And so I think what you have here already, Poseidon, and the direction that Mavros Prime is going in, the only direction it can go is up, because we need more of this. We need more of these communities. We need more of these supportive groups. And, for an artist to feel like, oh, when I join Mavros, I want to call it Mavros Prime. I want to call it MP. I'm like getting so used to saying it. MP for sure. I'm getting so used to it now. But anyway, they feel like when I join Mavros Prime, there's We're a family. We're close to a community, and there's opportunity here.
Right. Yes.
So
artists,
y'all put you can unball your fists, you can relax now, okay? Like there's like you ain't got to do all that, like you're literally, your vibe will attract your tribe. People are going to say, okay, cool, this is an artist I can rock with. Cool, this is a community that I can rock with. Wonderful. So absolutely love it. Y'all make sure once again that you go to Poseidon's website. Links are in the description, or the the description on both YouTube and the podcast. Okay, cool. So tell us, I know you mentioned a little bit about going to, is it DreamCon? That's the name of it, right? DreamCon?
Yes, DreamCon. Yep.
Do you have a desire to go to different conventions too, or like DreamCon is like the one?
Well, I mean, no, I have desire to go to as many conventions as money and the Lord will allow.
Okay, you're okay with staying busy. I'm with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I won't be. I won't say. I mean, won't. I'll say won't. I won't be. I can't be selfish anymore. So, even though today is my birthday, 11 days ago, I gave birth to my first child. I didn't give birth.
Oh my gosh! 11 days ago.
11 days ago. Thank you. Oh yeah.
That is so awesome. Yay. See now.
Oh, was it show?
Oh,
show?
Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Wait, now it blacked out. Your screen blacked out a little. Was it a boy or a girl?
It is a girl.
Girl. Oh my gosh, a baby girl. Oh my goodness, she's so cute. Look at her eyes. Okay, all right. You know what? If you're listening on the podcast, let that be the main reason that you go watch the YouTube video, is so you could see Poseidon's wonderful, beautiful, brand new daughter. Oh my gosh, congratulations again. It's like the 8th time I've said that. So now I'm like totally, now I'm so far in a different headspace now. At first,
interviews, let's do it.
At first it was your birthday, and then I'm like, all right, and now it's like, oh my gosh, like you're a father, like that is huge.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So I mean, I had planned. I originally had, I want to say 4 or 5 anime conventions planned for this year, and then I got that news, and I was like, all right, I have to go to this one.
Yeah,
I can't. I have to go to this one. The other ones are smaller, but this one is a must go to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy for y'all.
Thank you.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Now it's like, okay. And now I'm actually supposed to continue this interview when I'm getting baby vibes. Like, like, I don't even know what to say now. I'm like, oh my God.
No, we got it. We got it.
Yes, yeah, we do. Of course, I mean, we're entering the more relaxed part of our interview, but that's so cool. And then that opens up a door, because I want to like take off in another direction. When it comes to being able to thrive as a creative and knowing your priorities and knowing how to balance your priorities and things like that too. And that's why I have my podcast, so I could go on my rants, because I have like so much to say. Like, don't get me started. But yes. Well, how about that brief topic when it comes to priorities, when it comes to learning what to prioritize and still move forward with your passion, with your dream, with your vision? What kind of feedback can you give? Again, a lot of artists have reached out asking me to do videos about time management, or asking me to do videos about balancing their personal life and their creative life. What kind of feedback can you give about that topic?
Well, that's definitely going to be like a specifically like person-to-person basis, because
absolutely,
you never know what people have going on. Like I said, I just had my daughter, and so like
yeah,
it's like I foolishly was like, oh, I could put together a 3-minute video before this interview. No. like a little demo reel. I was like, no, never even touch
forget it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going in. going in commando. But no, it's you have to want it. That is my
Yeah.
number one. You have to want it, because when you want it, you will find time. You will find the time. You will find.
Yeah.
I was a server bartender for 13 years. I worked in the restaurant, and I was like, well, one, I know I can't do this forever, and I don't want to do this forever. But I had every little free time I had, I would be doodling on my drawing on my pads. If I'm not taking an order, I'm doodling this, and I have hundreds of little chits of paper with faces and eyeballs and this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, now that I have my basic drawing down, how do I put this on paper to make it into a manga? And then I started doing the research, and every time I had downtime, I'm watching a YouTube video and I'm learning. And that's one thing people need to know, is that you are an eternal student. You are an eternal student, and you are always learning. You are never too good to not learn. You are never too good to not learn. So that's why you take everything as a learning process, and then that, like I said, you have to want it. When you want it, the time presents itself, really.
Come on now, that was a diamond. That wasn't just like a regular gem. Point blank. But it got okay, that could be a whole nother layer thing. You done got me started. I feel like I need to record a separate podcast right after this interview.
I'm down.
That's good. That's good, because it starts with us, and we have to make a decision, especially if you see your creativity as part of your evolution, part of your growth. And if you don't get into your creativity, that feels like you're stagnant. So if that's part of, like, you have to be involved in this process. You have to do, you got to make time for that. You got to make time for that. And I love how you rounded that out, Poseidon, by saying, like, it's like time presents itself. When you want it, it's gonna happen. Even if it starts out with 5 minutes, boy, like, get the wheels turning.
That's it.
Have you heard of that before? And I may not be calling it exactly what it is. I think it's called like the 2-minute rule, something like that. No. You never heard of it before? Or, like I said, I might be calling it something, but I know it's a 2-minute something. But what it is, it's for you to set a timer of 2 minutes on before you do that something, right? Like, let's just say you want to start reading, or let's just say you want to do your art. Set the timer for 2 minutes, and then start doing whatever that is, right? Start drawing or whatever. Once the alarm goes off, you're already positioned. So that's the thing. The 2-minute rule is just to get you positioned. Okay. It's not even, and so you're like, dang, it's 2 minutes already. And then you end up hitting, and that's what happens. You end up just turning it off and then just continuing. Yep. It's all it is just to get starting, like that like, get in position. Okay. And then you can actually work on your task, or, whatever task at hand. But yeah, that's good. That's some good stuff. Poseidon dropped those gems. It must be a father thing. It must be a husband father thing. It's a husband father vibe tonight, y'all. All right. Real quick, y'all, quick plug once again. Make sure you click those links in the description. Check out Poseidon, all of his platforms. Support him on his mission, because he's supporting you too. It's a reciprocal thing. It's a shared support. Okay, so real quick. I guess real quick. We are going to dive into the word game as we close the conversation out. And so the word game, for those that are not aware of this, and if you're not aware, you need to go back and listen to the other previous podcasts and watch the YouTube videos and get up to speed. But what the word game is, I just call off some words, and then Poseidon is going to tell us the very first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
In less than 2 seconds. Okay. Oh. If he can't think of anything, he's just going to say pass.
Okay.
But he's skilled at this kind of stuff, so he's not going to call off pass. It doesn't matter. You can say pass if you need to. It's all right. Now, I tried to be fancy, and the words that I'm going to use came from the interview. So they're words that you have said. Okay. All right. Well, I say that because I want to give myself brownie points. I'm gonna pat myself in the back, like, oh, that's pretty awesome, Electra. Like, good job.
You did good. You did good.
Okay. All right. So the first word is dance.
Break.
Let's do it. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm gonna stop you right now. When I have played this game, some people will grab on to a certain pattern and then they'll keep going to that pattern, right? So I'll say, like, example, I may say dance and then they might say something like the opposite of dance. I don't know, pick something. then I'll say a different word, then they'll give me the opposite. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. You're playing, you're doing a little pattern. But it's all good either way. Like I said, there's no rules, but I'm just being silly.
Okay.
So the next word is blender.
Cartoons.
I love how blender would mean something to you, and then it would mean something different to someone who's into health and fitness.
Oh, 100%.
Like if you say blender, they'll say juicer or something.
Yeah, like, right. Let it be like smoothie.
Yeah, I know. Right. And I'll give you an example. My sister, she has always loved cosmetics, right? Oh. And I grew up with a little bit of the blurred vibes, right? Mm-hmm. And so we would joke around that whenever we were going shopping or we were going to a mall, the Mac she's looking for is Mac Cosmetics. The Mac I'm looking for is the computers, right? The Apple store. Like,
oh yeah, I see. Okay.
So it's like, it depends on what space you're in. That is so funny. Oh. Okay, so blender, we got cartoon. The next word is Greek.
Salad. What Greek salad?
Wait a minute. My artists that are listening to this on the podcast, I need for you to go watch the YouTube video and look at Poseidon's facial expressions. When I said Greek, like his face just like squinched up, like I think I'm gonna say salad. It's like I don't want to, but I have to say something.
That was, you said that was the first thing, and I don't.
Oh my gosh, you got me in tears. All right, so the next word is culture. Culture.
Oh, black.
Black?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all make sure you have to see his facial expressions, because I said culture is like black, like just like this whole like yep, boom, there we go. And your final word is anime.
Pass.
Of all the words you can't. Oh man, so close.
Yeah, I thought you said anime, so I wanted to say anime, but I was like, no, that is not. No,
you're like, I can't echo the word that.
Yeah, that would just be dumb.
Okay, that by far has been one of the best word games that I've played this year. That was actually good. That brought a whole lot of tears out. Tears of laughter, of course. Oh my gosh. So, and on the note of anime, real quick, I meant to ask, have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventures? I think it's Bizarre Adventures.
3,000%.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That had me going. I think do you know how many seasons? 4, 5?
There's 4, and they're coming out with the 5th.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to have to catch that. I actually need to watch that again. Like they're so good. Those are so good. That's
JoJo's definitely. I definitely watched that probably more than once. And, it's good. Some people, some people don't like the, I think it's unique. It's unique.
It is unique. It is unique. It now, and for me, it threw me off because it was so unique. And then after watching a few more episodes, it's like, oh, I'm getting the idea that this is the vibe here. Like it's gonna get stranger. It's gonna get wilder. It's gonna, be more surprising. It's gonna, so yeah. It's like you either get on it or you can go home. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Poseidon, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm still wiping tears from my eyes from the word game. Do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to, special recognition, mentions, show some love to?
I give a shout out to all of the fans following Mavros Prime or supporting me in any of my ventures. My mother, my father, my wife, my new daughter, Melisana, all of the cross fans out there. I know I might have not mentioned that, but my manga Crossmancer.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That we'll be selling those at DreamCon, and to any every artist out there, I support you, and then I hope to one day that you support me.
Yes. Shout out to everyone. Thank you so much to our viewers, to our listeners. We appreciate y'all. Keep doing what you're doing, and much respect. Again, y'all, make sure you click those links in the description, both on the podcast and the YouTube, and support the movement. The movement is like superbly real. So you're a part of the movement when you support other movements too. Like it's a reciprocal thing, as we had mentioned earlier. So make sure you do that. So Poseidon and I are going to say peace to y'all, but we're going to stay on. So we're going to give our peace outs here. Love y'all. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Creatives, it has been both a pleasure and an honor to have you sit in on our conversation today. So, will you be the next artist interviewed? Visit respecttheartist.com/artist-interviews to learn more. And hopefully, I'll see you soon. RTA stands for Respect the Artist. Love y'all.